Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we get into the video though, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're going to get notified when I put new videos out. We're going to be focusing on this channel, as I mentioned in the intro video, on onshore fishing here in Southwest Florida, not boat. You may see, rarely, but you may see a couple of videos in the future where I'm out with a guide either here in the inland waterways in Southwest Florida or maybe Lake Okeechobee, something like that. But for the most part, I'm devoting the channel to fishing Florida style without a boat, which means we're going to be going after a lot of bass. I am a bass addict. That I go way back in my bass fishing days, back to when I was an early teen, some 40 years ago. And so I'm mainly going after bass here in Southwest Florida. So the channel is going to be mainly largemouth bass. I've got another friend of mine that's going to be contributing, and he does a lot of saltwater, so you're going to see a mix. But what I want to talk about today briefly is equipment, because when you don't have a boat, boat fishermen have the luxury of the 10 rods. They'll have 5 rods on one side, 5 rods on the other, 5 different lures on these rods, 5 different lures on these. So they're literally already going out prepped with 10 fishing rods with 10 different lures, and that way when they get on the water, they can hit the lures fast to see what the fish are going to hit. But when you're going out on the canals or in a pond and you're going to walk away from maybe where you parked your car or your truck or whatever, you can't be carrying 10 rods with you. You can't be carrying 5 rods with you. You can't be carrying multiple tackle boxes. So what I want to do is just kind of encourage you that if you're going to get into onshore canal fishing here in Southwest Florida or pond fishing, you got to make the right tackle choices. I take 2 rods with me. I'm probably going to start taking a third, because I think I figured out a way to carry them effectively without getting them all tangled up. But I carry 2 rods right now. What I try to do is on those 2 rods, I've got a 7-foot rod that has pretty heavy action, and I've got a 6.5 foot rod that's light action. So I've got light tackle and heavy tackle. I've got 15-pound mono on one, and I've got 10-pound braid on another. And so I'm trying to use that smaller rod with the braid to throw smaller lures when I need to make precision casts on canals or even on the ponds. I'm using my bigger rod with the 15-pound mono on it for things when I need to fish a jig or worry about getting into cover and getting out of cover and getting bass out of cover. So those are the 2 things I do. And when I'm casting like a topwater bait, like a buzz bait, or a heavy spinner bait, I'm going to use my heavier rod for that. And then when I'm maybe wanting to tie on something like a frog or a zero spook or some other topwater, or maybe a small crankbait or a small plastic, I'm using the other rod. And so I'm going on the canals with 2 rods pre-tied already with either a topwater or spinner bait, and a worm and a smaller swim bait or a crankbait, depending on, again, what I think the weather's going to be. Is it going to be windy? Is it going to be cloudy? Is it going to be, am I going to get out there early in the morning? Am I going during the heat of the day? Am I going at night? All those things factor into what I'm going to pre-tie on. But those are the 2 things I'm taking. I'm taking 2 rods. I'm taking a backpack with basically replacements for the 2 things that I've tied on. So if I'm fishing soft plastics, I'm going to take along just enough extra soft plastics to keep replenishing what I have tied on. If it's a Texas rig, drop shot, wacky rig, whatever. If I'm fishing a spinner bait and I've got a trailer, I'll take extras of the trailer, because naturally that's most likely what's going to get torn off as you're fishing. If I'm fishing a chatterbait, same thing. I'm taking extra trailers that go with that chatterbait. And I may have 2 more replacement lures, 2 or 3, to go in the box on my backpack, but I'm trying not to weight myself down, because I'm doing a lot of walking, which is what onshore fishing is all about. If I go to certain canals here in Southwest Florida, I can walk 2 miles down the edge of that canal, and the last thing you want is a bunch of heavy stuff to take with you and a bunch of rods in your hand. So I'm going to encourage you, if you want to get into onshore fishing, especially here in Southwest Florida, where we have a multitude of canals and ponds to fish, which is so much fun and rewarding to catch a large bass out of something like, especially the canals, where you can go anywhere on the canal that it looks bassy, as we say, but you don't know if they're there. So when you finally find one and you land it, it's extremely rewarding versus maybe sometimes fishing a pond in neighborhoods where they've maybe stocked the ponds. Sometimes it feels like you can cast a piece of popcorn and a fish is going to hit it. So I'm finding my rewards in the canals, so you're going to see probably a lot more videos of me canal fishing here in Southwest Florida, and that's why it's important to make sure you're taking the right tackle, that you're not going out there with the wrong tackle, because once you've left your house and if you don't have your trunk filled with everything you need, or again if you've left your car, your truck, and you've already walked 1.5 miles and you realize you didn't bring what you need, that gets pretty discouraging. So 2 rods, 2 pre-ties, either something like a topwater or spinner bait, and then maybe a crankbait or a chatterbait or a soft plastic. Those are the things that I'm predetermined to give before I get out there. And that's really the extent of what I want to do with this video. Those are the 2 things I'm going to tell you to make sure you do. And then make sure you're carrying with you naturally some pliers, because again, you're going to be walking a ways from where you're at. You don't have the luxury of having stuff laying around the bottom of your boat. So pack your bag of cord and get a good sling pack. I'm actually in the process of getting a new one right now, and maybe I'll show that on one of the upcoming videos. But take a good backpack, get your 2 rods, take just enough in that backpack, again, to extra trailers, maybe a couple replacement lures, and then pliers, maybe some gloves if you're fishing where their species might have teeth and you need to get them off your hook. And then if you're doing anything like video or photographs, you know, extra batteries, things like that. So that's how I equip myself when I'm headed to the canals, and that's what you're going to see a lot of me in the videos in the upcoming, hopefully the next few weeks, days, months, whatever, however often I'm putting out these videos. I'm going to spend a lot more time showing you what's going on in the canals, how I fish the canals, and hopefully you're going to see a lot of catch and fish action as well. So again, hit that subscribe button, slam that like button if you like what I have to say, and tune back in next time and we'll do another series of fishing Florida style, onshore fishing, canals, ponds, even maybe a creek or 2 in the upcoming future. So we'll see you all soon. Thanks. Bye.